In this video, we'll be looking at section 3.5. Operations with complex numbers. And so just to review, our complex number is that A plus BI, where A is the real component and B is the imaginary. Okay. So let's look at addition and subtraction of complex numbers. So it's pretty straightforward. We will add or subtract the real pieces the real components together. And then we add or subtract the imaginary components. And this is kind of like the idea of combining like terms. So let's do two examples. Let's say we had 2 plus 4i plus 3 minus 7i. We'd add our real components together. So 2 plus 3 would be 5. And we'll add our imaginary components together. So 4 plus negative 7 would be a negative 3i, and we're done. Okay, let's do this example. Negative 5 minus 7i minus 3 minus 2i. So now we've got to make sure that we don't lose this piece, and it's that distributing the negative. So we want to distribute this negative. So now we have negative 5 minus 7i. So I'm distributing this negative, so negative 3 minus 3. And then a negative times a negative would be a positive 2i. Now we just combine like terms. Negative 5 minus 3 would be negative 8. Negative 5 minus 3 is negative 8. And then negative 7 plus 2 would be negative 5i. We're done. So that's addition and subtraction of complex numbers. Now let's look at multiplication. So for multiplication, use the distributive property. Okay, so I have 4 examples for this. Okay, so here's my first 2 examples. So the first one's pretty straightforward. We just use the distributive property. 4 times 3 is 12. And then 4 times 5i would be 20i. And we're done. So we just took that number on the outside, multiplied it by both parts on the inside, and we're finished. 4 times 3 was 12. 4 times 5i was 20i. Now we're going to do the same thing, but we're going to have to deal with this I. So let's deal with that. So negative 2i times negative 3 would be a positive 6i. So it's negative 2i times negative 3. Negative 2 times negative 3 is positive 6i. Then I'm going to go negative 2 times positive 6i would be negative 12i squared. Because negative 2 times 6 is negative 12, and then I times I is I squared. Now if we look back in our notes, we know that I squared equals negative 1. So what we have is we have 6i from right here, 6i coming straight down, minus 12 times, well, we know I squared is going to equal negative 1. So now we have 6i plus 12, but we want to write the real part first, so we'll say 12 plus 6i. Like so. Okay, let's do 2 more. We'll do this one, and we'll do this one. Okay, on number 3, it's just going to be a lot of distributing. So you have 3 times 4 is 12. Then 3 times 7i is 21i. So I just 3 times 4 is 12. Then I did 3 times 7i is 21i. Now we'll do the negative 2i. So negative 2i times 4. Negative 2i times 4 would be negative 8i. And then negative 2i times 7i would be negative 2 times 7 is negative 14i squared. We can combine our like terms, 21i and negative 8i, and we can turn the I squared into a negative 1. So let's do that. So we'll have 12. 21 minus 8 would be 13i minus 14 times negative 1. I'm just turning that I squared into negative 1. So now we have 12 plus 13i plus 14. It's brought down to 12, brought down to 13i. Negative 14 times negative 1 is positive 14. Combine our like terms, and we get 26 plus 13i. Okay. Now number 4, this is just about, it's the same process as number 3, but we need to write this out so we can see all the distribution that we need to do. So first I'm just going to write out what that square means. Well, that means to multiply it by itself. So 3 plus 4i times 3 plus 4i. And now we're able to go to Rainbow Town. So we'll do that. So I'll go 3 times 3 is 9. 3 times 4i is a positive 12i. Now we'll do working with this 4i. So 4i times 3 is positive 12i. And then 4i times 4i would be 16i squared. So we did 3 times 3 is 9. Then we did 3 times 4i is 12i. Okay, now we move on to distribute the 4i. 4i times 3 is 12i. And 4i times 4i is 16i squared. Gotta clean everything up, and we're done. So I'll say 9 plus 12i plus 12i is 24i. And then the I squared becomes a negative 1. So now we have 9 plus 24i minus 16. 9 minus 16 would be negative 5. So we get negative 5, negative 7, plus 24i. Always put that real piece first. So yeah, 9 minus 16 is negative 7, and then we bring down our 24i. And these are our final answers. And that's how we can do arithmetic with our complex numbers. So thank you very much for watching this video, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.